Welcome to the Fadecast. My name is Josh. I am your host today with my best friend, Zachary. How are you doing today, Zachary? I know it's been a while. How have you been?
I have been good, sir. We have some good stuff to talk about, and we're finally going to be getting to talk about some NFL. So stay tuned. That'll be fun.
You're happy about that one, aren't you?
I do enjoy NFL.
That's fair.
But NBA has been great too. Summer League has been fun. Getting to see all the good talent going on. So it's a good time to be a sports fan in general. We got the World Cup as well. That's been going crazy.
Didn't France just lose recently?
Yeah, man. They did lose to Spain.
Crazy. Argentina's still in though, right?
Argentina's still in. Spain's only given up one goal, I think, this whole World Cup, which is insane.
What?
So then you got Argentina versus England, which will be tomorrow for us. It'll already happen by the time this comes out, but
wow,
that should be an exciting game. So really good time if you're a sports fan, but once we get into August, that's when NFL
is that whoever wins England and Argentina, is that going finals now? Is this round of 4?
They'll play Spain.
Okay.
Yep.
Dang.
So it should be
That's
fun.
crazy too, man, because I don't know why I'm struggling with my my geolocation, but isn't Argentina pretty close to Spain? Am I tripping? No, it's in South America. My bad. Yeah, this is bad geography. I'm so sorry. See, this is why we don't do a podcast on geography, because I don't know nothing most of the time. But yeah, South America. My bad. So, but bet. Cool, man. Well, we got a couple topics today. Nothing too crazy. As we move forward in the future, we definitely want to talk more about the Summer League, and we're finally going to be diving into some NFL. Main topics we got going into today is we're going to be talking a little about All-Star Weekend for the MLB. We haven't done much MLB topics in a while, just because the series of games kind of go back and forth depending on which teams are getting hot at certain points and cold at certain points. So it's kind of hit or miss, but this is a nice middle territory. We're in the middle of the MLB season at this point, so we're about to head into the second half. But with the All-Star game already happening, it happened today, the Home Run Derby, all that, and the what is it called? The All-Star games for the minors, like the minor All-Star game. I watched a little bit of that. That was pretty cool. But yeah, just a lot of cool things going on this weekend. We also going to be talking about the Kawhi Leonard situation that's going on with the Clippers, the ongoing investigation that's been going on for over a year now, which is insane. We'll talk more about that. And then we are finally going to start talking about NFL prediction for rankings, records, and all that. And we're going to be diving into the AFC and NFC East on both sides of the American and National Football Conferences. So, Zach, we're going to go ahead and start right off the bat, man. Do you have anything to say before we start?
No.
All right, man. Let's jump right into it. We're going right in. All right. Dude, I'm not going to lie. The All-Star weekend for the MLB has been very exciting for me. Until today, I'm not going to lie. The All-Star game was very, very mid, if not very poor. The ending score for today's game was 4-0. The American League won 4-0. NL did nothing. They pooped. It was bad. But besides that, man, I'm not gonna lie. I watched that's what it is, the Rising Stars All-Star game for the minors. That was cool. Got to see a couple young Cardinals play in that game. I got to see a really cool pitching prospect that we drafted last year, Liam Doyle from Tennessee. Really hoping he's going to be able to become one of our future aces. Cross your fingers. At most, hopefully a good starter for time to come. But he's still in the Double-A with Springfield Cardinals. And then we also got to watch I think you pronounce it Renell Rodriguez. Dude is like 18 or 19 years old right now in AA for Springfield. And he's one of our really good catchers that we have in our farm system as well. It was really cool to see him play as well. Dude has a lot of potential, really good power at his age. So it's nice to see those guys and other young guys that people are talking about in the minors as well. Got to see a couple teams, best players like some of the guys from the Pirates, the Dodgers, because they have top 5 farms. For some reason, the Dodgers do, which is crazy. I don't know why they have to have a top 5 farm while they're still competing for championships upon championships, but it is what it is, man. But that was fun, man. And the biggest highlight of my week, and maybe the month of July at this point, man, was the home run derby. I know we were talking about it a little bit, Zach, but I honestly did not ask you. Did you peep some of it? I know you saw the ending, but how much did you intake?
Yeah, I wanna set the record straight real quick. I don't really know ball when it comes to baseball, so take that with a grain of salt.
But is he getting back into it though?
The very end. No, I'll still be a casual.
Okay.
But I watched the very end of Jordan Walker's his third round, the championship round against Warber. And man, that was just incredible. I mean, he had ice in his veins. So I didn't even know they had a rule change, to be honest. So I was watching it and I was like, oh, mathematically, this can't happen. He lost. He's getting second. And then they were talking about like the new change to where it's like if you hit a home run on the last ball, you keep going until I guess don't hit a home
you
run.
miss.
So I did not know that at the time. And I'm like, wait, what's happening? And he just kept hitting dinger after dinger. And I'm like, dude, is he like going to win this thing? It was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
He had like the whole stadium booing him every time. And man, he just took it on the chin and he did his thing, man. It's crazy. We finally have a Cardinal player to win the home run derby. So pretty cool.
And that is right, Zach. First St. Louis Cardinal to ever win a home run derby. That's insane. That's crazy. We've had literally some of the best power hitting players in this game, bro. We had Big Mac, bro. We had Mark McGwire. We've had Pujols, and we just never won one. Like it's crazy for the amount of times they've been in the home run derby too. None of them have been able to sniff it, but Mr. Jordan Walker himself, who would have thought? Not me. I coming into the season, I did not expect that. But man, going into that night, I had much faith in the man because, to be honest with you, I felt like he had a really good chance to win. I know he was known as like an underdog and people weren't expecting him to win. But that's just because people they haven't been paying attention, man. St. Louis is back on the map for baseball at this point. And it's crazy no one was paying attention to how great he has been doing this season and how well of a power hitter he is. Dude, he's been practicing for the Derby ever since he announced he was joining in. And I'm not going to lie, just watching the tape on him before he got to the actual home run derby, I was feeling really good because, especially with how his swing is, he really doesn't use too much energy compared to other guys. Like when you're watching him in the derby, he's very nonchalant, dude. You don't really see him putting much effort in, and that's just because Jordan Walker is just one of those guys where it's like, he's just naturally a big guy who can just absolutely take the seams off of the ball. Like no matter what. He doesn't even have to put all of his muscle into it, bro. He just naturally can hit bombs.
And that's kind of what I noticed too when I was watching. Like they were showing replays as well of Schwarber's round. And it looked like he was putting his whole back into it. And then they would show Jordan Walker and he's just nonchalant, like super chill, just like a nice smooth swing. It was just a crazy drastic change between the two. It was like every time he would hit the ball, I felt like it wasn't going out just because of how like almost soft it looked, but it would just carry all the way out. And so that was really cool. And like you said, you know, who would have thought at the beginning of the season this would happen? Because it's like I'm a casual fan. I do follow the Cardinals, like the box score and everything, and that's about it. But wasn't he like not very good last year?
It was bad, man.
Must watch.
Dude went from being a bust, possibly going to Memphis. Like the man, if I remember, and it's funny because I actually just went to a Cardinals game this past Saturday when they versed the Braves, and me and a buddy went to the game, and we were talking about it. We were like, dude, it's crazy because Jordan Walker this time last year was batting like barely 200, and his OPS was like 581, which is below league average. League average is usually like around 700, if not maybe just a little bit less than 700. But typically, if you have an OPS of 700, that's typically like pretty average hitting stats. But yeah, dude, it was bad to watch last year. That's for sure. Pulling up his stats, I mean, he's actually been a negative WAR player his whole time. Like coming into this year, his win above replacement has been a negative 2.6. Negative 2.6. He's been a negative his whole career. It was even worse. He was a negative 1.7. This year, he's leading the Cardinals in WAR at a solid 3.8. He's now a positive WAR player at 1.2 over his career. He's almost eclipsed his amount of home runs he's had in his first 3 years. In his first 3 years combined, he has about 27 home runs. He has 22 right now. He's projected to eclipse his home runs all combined from that time. His batting average, he bat 215 last year and had a 584 OPS, which is just atrocious. It's practically unplayable, especially at the position he was at because he was playing right field majority of the year.
Yeah, what a wild change of events going from that to now the player he is today, an all-star home run derby champion. Dude just won a milli too. What a good weekend for Jordan Walker.
Man's arbitration is like $800,000. That man won more than his contract. He's in arbitration, guys. He's not even like extended yet, which
it's a nice stretch of days he's had here.
Yeah, Jordan Walker's definitely going to get a fat extension, but that extension's not going to be until the season's over for sure, because I've been telling people, I'm like, it makes total sense if I'm Jordan Walker or his agent. Dude, you're riding out the season. Especially after the home run derby. Oh man, you're riding this out to see what you can do. I say best case scenario, what you want is if Jordan Walker can somehow also get like MVP nods. He doesn't need to win MVP, but dude, if he can get votes in there, he's really gonna maximize his extension. I'd be shocked if he doesn't get signed to a big boy contract once the season's over.
He's already looking like a future Dodger.
Or whoa, calm down.
That's how he.
They're probably gonna wait on the salary cap though, because next season is definitely going into a lockdown. But yeah. Hopefully we can get him for cheaper, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how that all pans out. But yeah, dude, like first round, him and Wilson Contreras tied for the most home runs in the first round. Easy, just dominant first round. Hit 13 homers out of 20. And then when you get to the next round, you verse. There's 4 left. And then it's 1v1 between the 4 of them. So Jordan Walker versus Junior Caminero, who is known as one of the best home run hitters in the league. I think leading up to the home run derby, I think the announcers said that the dude hit like 10 home runs in the last 12 games before the derby, which is actually insane. That had me worried when I heard that. But But and also he was the runner up last year as well. So coming into this derby, a lot of people thought he was the favorite, but dude, Jordan Walker came in. Junior Caminero kind of choked, bro. He only had 6 out of 15 in the second round. And then Jordan just came in, bro, and just cooked, man. He got 7 easily. I don't even think Jordan got to 10 pitches by then. And he just absolutely dominated both rounds. And then in the last round, obviously, luckily Schwarber had the got to go up first, and then Jordan Walker, man, those last 4 was crazy, man. But yeah, they did change the rules. I know you mentioned earlier. The rules that they did change was they got rid of the time limit, which thank God they implemented that. Like, I think it was like over a decade ago now, and I'm so glad they finally got rid of that because, dude, the Derby is so much more exciting when there's no more like time limit, and it makes it to where we can enjoy these players' home runs way more. And dude, those last 4, I was enjoying every second from those last 4 from Jordan Walker. Those were some absolute moonshots he was hitting. And it's nice for the players that they get to enjoy them too. But yeah, them getting rid of the time and also having it to where once you get on your last pitch, if you go on a streak, you stay in. That's just awesome, man. And it obviously worked out because with that rule, we saw what happened, man. We saw some clutch gene. I mean, it was impeccable, bro. I think that's the best home run derby I've ever seen in my life. I don't know if I'd say it's the best ever. Just because like the Ken Griffey home run derby is pretty legendary, but it's definitely up there, dude. Like it was crazy, man. And the dude is 24. For him to do that in an arena that is favoring Schwarber very heavy because they're in Philly, I mean, all the odds against him, and it just didn't matter.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Jordan Walker.
Still getting
Good stuff.
goosebumps. Still getting goosebumps, guys.
Still get goosebumps to this day.
Yo,
Later.
it's crazy, man. Oh, I got to keep going to more games this year, dude. It's crazy.
No, for sure. Yeah, we'll be keeping tabs on Jordan Walker the rest of the year. But now, Josh, dun dun dun.
Got some bad news, man.
Kawhi Leonard. Break it down for us, Joshua. What's going on?
So I've known about this for a while, man. And turns out the NBA has, because I don't understand why this investigation has been drawn out for over a year now. And it seems like it's just going to keep going for, hopefully it only goes for another month, because this investigation needs to be done by next season. Like, it needs to be. But I mean, this is just ridiculous, man. No one's really talking about it. I'll dive right into it real quick. This is the scenario here. This is more of the easier breakdown of what Shams is giving us, and I'll go ahead and throw in a couple of my points that I have and the information I know. So, the LA Clippers and the Raptors had a trade centered around Kawhi Leonard, which will not be completed until the NBA investigation into whether the Clippers circumvented the salary cap is completed. The Clippers and Raptors agreed to a trade back on June 30th. We've talked about it before. We have a video on this channel if you want to go check that out. It's in the channel. The Clippers, in a statement to ESPN on Thursday, said the trade can only be finalized if the Raptors ownership group assumes the risk of penalties related to Kawhi's contract that could theoretically result from the ongoing investigation. The Raptors, meanwhile, issued their own statement saying they would wait for the league's findings rather than assuming that risk, but they remain eager to bring Kawhi back to Toronto to look forward to a swift resolution for our players and organization and fans. The NBA's investigation into the Clippers is focused on whether they circumvented the salary cap by funneling money to Leonard through his $28 million endorsement deal with now a bankrupt green banking company, Aspiration, which has also had a $300 million 23-year endorsement deal with the actual franchise itself. Team owner Steve Ballmer, who invested $60 million in Aspiration, has denied he had knowledge of Leonard's deal. Leonard and his uncle, who is his agent, which, fun fact, I'll talk about it later, is not his agent anymore. Kind of sus. And his business advisor, Dennis Robertson, has been interviewed by investigators as part of the league's inquiry, told by ESPN. There is no timetable for the conclusion of the NBA's probe, which is being performed by outside counsel, but an NBA spokesperson on Thursday told ESPN that league experts, the league expects the firm to finalize its work in the coming weeks. Hopefully, the Clippers on Thursday again said that they did not funnel money to Kawhi Leonard through Aspiration, and that they were victims of fraud initiated by Aspiration's co-founder, Joe Samberg. Fun fact, the guy that runs Aspiration, the co-founder, Joe Samberg, has been convicted and sentenced to 14 years in prison for fraud. So just keep that in mind. And they also said, we recognize the uncertainty this has created and that the impact had on our team, our fans, the Raptors organization, their fans, and the players whose futures remain affected while this process continues, the Clippers said in a statement. We remain confident that when the facts are evaluated fairly and thoroughly, the NBA will confirm exactly what we have from the beginning. We have not done what we are accused of doing. And then going back, like I did say, Kawhi Leonard, his uncle, has always been his agent since day one, even during the Spurs years. And as in recent talks, Kawhi Leonard now has a new agent. He has finally split from his uncle, who had been his longtime agent. So, Zach, lot of stuff to take in there, but what's your thoughts here?
Well, I told Josh off the podcast, I don't know too much about the nitty-gritty details of this, just kind of the headline of what's going on. So I know the league is now, they're kind of having to trade on hold until they potentially figure out what's going on. Is there a world where this actually gets rescinded, this trade? What would happen? Would Kawhi just go back to the Clippers and then Brandon Ingram and all those picks and Gravy Dick, they're back at the Raptors?
I don't think the trade gets rescinded because, as far as I know, I think the Raptors knew that this was going to happen, which is kind of crazy. It's kind of messed up that the league decided to come out and say this after the trade had happened. But I forgot his name, but one of the Raptors owners, I forgot his name, but he's actually a part of the NBA Board of Governors. And usually the Board of Governors are notified about certain things like this, or they have knowledge of things like this. So I do think the Raptors knew that this was going to happen, most likely. And that guy actually just recently sold his stake for the Raptors as well. So he's definitely trying to get out before all this goes down. But he already sold his stake as far as I know, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I don't think it gets rescinded just because I feel like the Raptors already knew this was going to happen. Regardless, I don't think the Clippers should have any power or say in the fact that the Raptors should take any of the penalties. In my opinion, that does not make sense. If David Stern was the commissioner in this standpoint, well, first off, the trade would have never happened. The investigation would have already been done at this point. This type of investigation should have been done very swiftly and quickly, because this can literally ruin the league. This is really bad. This is like literally like college football on steroids, because if it's true that they were circumventing and giving Kawhi Leonard money under the table, I mean, this is just really bad for the NBA. And I've seen some owners like Mark Cuban defend what's his face, the owner of the Clippers, Steve Ballmer. I've seen people defend Steve Ballmer, and to be honest with you, I'm not defending the dude. First of all, he's a billionaire. He's one of the richest people in America, first and foremost. This dude owns Microsoft, all right? Keep in mind, or did. I think he might have sold his stake. I don't know. But dude is from Microsoft, so I could care less at that point. Also, years ago, when he took over being the Clippers owner, he got in trouble and fined back in like 2016 when he was trying to circumvent the salary cap by paying DeAndre Jordan under the table. They got fined back in like 2015, 2016. So to me, if dude did it once before, what's going to keep him from doing it again with a even better player in Kawhi Leonard? I mean, at the end of the day, man, you've done it once. I don't see why you wouldn't do it again. I do think it happened. I think the Clippers are just trying to get out of this, but I don't see why. I don't see why the Raptors would get afflicted with this, because at the end of the day, for the NBA to take this long and let this trade happen, even with all the repercussions, that's just messed up, especially like telling the Raptors last minute, and hopefully their ownership knew about it before taking the risk. But regardless, man, the Clippers deserve all the penalties at the end of the day. Raptors should not receive any penalties. If the league wants to give any sort of penalty to the Raptors, it should mainly just be on Kawhi Leonard more than the actual Toronto franchise.
Okay, so my question with this whole thing, and this is more hypothetical than anything, this isn't based on facts, but is it a possibility that the league isn't going to do anything because this is already happening in other places throughout the league? And what I mean by that is, like, this is just an example, not saying this happened or anything like that, but what if Jalen Brunson, when he signed that contract, took the lower amount because under the table he got paid? Like, is there a possibility certain things like that is happening elsewhere to where you can't really punish the Clippers for what they did with Kawhi? Or do you think this is legitimately like just a Clipper issue?
Yeah, you want my honest opinion?
Yeah.
I mean, with the way that the NBA is being run now, I would not be surprised that it's not just the Clippers.
That's what I think too.
And with that being said, that doesn't mean the Clippers shouldn't be penalized. It just shows the incompetence of the NBA at this point. Like, why are we, like, what are these investigations? Why are we not keeping tabs on teams? Like, these teams and ownership are just walking around and just doing whatever, dude. Like, it's like Adam Silver and whoever else is with them at the top running the NBA, they're just not keeping tabs, bro. I just don't understand. And the Kawhi thing, this whole thing only came out because I think it was another podcast, or it was someone on another sports channel that literally came out and did research on Kawhi's contract and endorsements and found it. It wasn't even someone that I don't even think was a part of ESPN or anything like that. It was just, I mean, the person was known, but there was someone that came on a pod and talked about it, and then it gained leverage from there, and then finally the NBA realized, oh, we might actually have something. So if someone wouldn't have came out and spoken out about it, dude, this would never came out.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's possible that the league just would have kept it on hush if that never happened.
I mean, let's be real. What happened? I mean, we see what happened with the gambling stuff, dude. This past year. I mean, the whole, like, the gambling ring and stuff, dude. Like, the NBA was keeping that hush too, obviously, because they didn't do anything about it until the FBI got involved. Like, that's how deep it was, bro. The FBI finally got involved, and then the NBA was like, oh, we didn't know we had this problem. Like, come on, man. What do you mean you didn't know you had this problem? Who is running this league, man? Who is doing these investigations? Like, is no one just keeping tabs? Like, is no one looking at the information that is in front of you at the league office? Like, what is going on? Like, these are just not good looks, like, at all. Like, the gambling ring, this happening with the Clippers, like, it just keeps getting worse. You're getting a lot of teams that are tanking more and more as time goes on because teams know that all you're going to do is just find them. Like, it just keeps piling up, dude. It's actually insane.
And it's wild too, like you were saying, how almost third-party people are finding out these things, because it's like, even with the Malik Beasley, Terry Rozier, all these scandals, like, shout out on YouTube Mike Dadino, because he's been like putting it in chat GBT, what are the games where the league is investigating, and ChatGPT will tell him. He goes to the game and he like breaks it down, their actual play, like their highlights of the game, and it's pretty clear. That's what.
Oh, Michael Beasley is super clear, bro. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you've seen some of Michael Beasley's plays, but they would always take like the over on rebounds. And there was one game where he went for a rebound at the end of a game, like he needed one more to hit the over. Dude, he ran in front of everybody, and they were already winning, dude. But dude ran in front of everybody to go grab that board. I forgot what game it was, but it was crazy. It was when he was on the Timberwolves. It was diabolical, bro.
I think there was another one as well where he had the over on points, and it was kind of one of those situations where you had to dribble out the clock, and he like full sprinted, quick dunk type of thing. And it's just stuff like that now that you know what he did, it's like, oh my goodness, this guy is not even just playing the game, but he's playing a totally different game as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very interesting. But we'll see what the league does with this Kawhi situation. My guess is nothing happens, but we'll see. You never know.
And I did look it up. The person who found out about it was Pablo Toro. I think I said his last name. I might have butchered it. Tora. Yeah, he pretty sure he runs a podcast. But yeah, dude, he broke the story back in September of like 2025.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Pablo.
And he's pretty known. He's I think he's on MSN, or I don't know, man, but he's not like on ESPN or anything like that as far as I know. But yeah, this dude, like, he still talks about it too, which, respect to him, man, for staying to his guns. But it literally took a podcaster to get this story out, dude. It's insane. I just don't know what they're doing, man. I just don't get it. Yeah. I don't know. Oh, wait, he's on a Pardon the Interruption. So he is on ESPN, my bad. But he has his own independent podcast that he runs. So, but he's the only one that talks about it, and on his podcast and on the ESPN show, Pardon the Interruption. I don't really watch that show a lot because, what's his face is on that show. I don't know. I don't really like the people that are on there, but shout out to Pablo, dude. He's doing his job.
Yeah, for sure. Well, but, shall we get into some football?
Yeah, man.
Cool.
So we want to jump right into the two divisions. Me and Zach were planning on going through all the divisions here and going through who we think is going to win the division out, record-wise. So, Zach, I think it's only right that we start in the AFC here, and we all know who in the AFC we have is the Buffalo Bills. I'm kidding, Miami Dolphins.
We do have the Miami Dolphins. And so how do we want to do this? Do we want to start with our top AFC East winner first.
Let's
on the list.
Let's go from lowest to highest. So start from who's gonna lose out, and then up the ladder.
All right. Well, this is fun because
So let's start with
favorite
AFC.
team, the Miami Dolphins, at 4th for myself.
You have any record predictions?
List it off. Oh, okay. Record prediction.
If you don't, it's okay.
So, let me go probably 4-13.
Okay.
A solid 4-13 for the Dolphins. So, I don't know, man. With the Dolphins, they've probably had the most turnover in the entire league from last year to this year. Obviously, starting with the head coach, Mike McDaniel, he's gone. The entire coaching staff is gone. You get rid of Tua. You're paying him an insane amount of money to play for the Falcons right now. You cut Tyreek Hill as well. You're getting a bunch of dead money from him. You cut Bradley Chubb. You trade Jalen Waddle. You're losing all these pieces. Jalen Phillips, who was traded midseason last year. So it's a completely new identity for the Dolphins. They hire head coach Jeff Hafley, who at the time I wasn't huge on. I wasn't a big fan of this coaching cycle in general, besides John Harbaugh. So a lot of these new head coaches, to me, it's just kind of wait and see. But yeah, the Dolphins, they didn't have much spending money this offseason. They went out. Obviously, their big fish was signing quarterback Malik Willis, who I was hoping we did not sign during the offseason, because I was thinking we should, for one, roll with Quinn Ewers this year, and then bring in a guy like Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, maybe Dylan Gabriel or someone like that to compete with Quinn Ewers, to see if you have anything there. And if you don't, no worries, move on to 2027, where the QB class is absolutely stacked. We decided to go the Malik Willis route. And actually, when the Dolphins, when they came out the contract for Malik Willis, I was actually pretty surprised, because I thought he would get more. It's only $45 million guaranteed, so it's not the worst thing in the world. And another way I kind of cope with this is, if there's anybody who knows Malik Willis, it would be Jeff Hafley, plus all the coaches the Dolphins stole from the Packers. So that gives me a little comfort that there's more continuation. So we'll just have to see how he pans out. He doesn't have great weapons right now. He really has Devon Achane, and that's about it. You have Greg Dulcich.
About Joe Stupid.
Yeah, man, he's going to get every ball. So the running game for the Dolphins might be pretty good. The passing game is what scares me. Greg Dulcich, you have him, who kind of revitalized his career last year. He just needs to stay healthy. Your wide receiver core is completely up in the air. You have Malik Washington, Jalen Tolbert. You brought in a couple free agents. You drafted a couple guys. You drafted Chris Bell. You drafted Caleb Douglas. You drafted one of our guys, Kevin Coleman Jr. Just a lot of guys. You don't have a true number one, and you probably don't even really have a true number two. So you're hoping one of those guys will stick and can maybe be an everyday starter for next year, potentially. This year is more of an experiment. I like what they did in the draft. It's kind of hard for the Dolphins to mess up their draft because they had so many draft picks. They had a clear goal, was to get a new identity. So first of all, you address the offensive line. They go get Caden Proctor. They have another first-round pick from the Jalen Waddle trade. They draft cornerback Chris Johnson, who I wasn't big on at that spot, but I do admire they did trade up a couple spots for him, so they had a certain conviction, which I like when teams have conviction about a guy. And then my favorite pick, though, was Jacob Rodriguez. In the second round, I did not think he would fall to that spot. So I'm really excited that that could be a potential cornerstone piece going into the future. But the Dolphins, they have some players out there. You know, we have Jordan Brooks, who's probably a top 10 linebacker in football. You lock up center Aaron Brewer, who's probably a top 5 center in the league. Devon Achane got his contract. So you're putting together core pieces, but you just don't have enough talent at this point. You're a young team. your goal is not going to be wins and losses this year. It's to see what guys can develop and stick with the core of the roster next year, the year after, going forward. So I don't think it'll be a great year win-loss wise for the Dolphins. That's why I have them at last. And I just think the other three teams are more talented. So that's where I have the Dolphins. Who's your fourth team?
I'm going to go ahead and go with the Dolphins as well. I think you hit everything on the nail. I was kind of going back and forth between the Jets and Dolphins, probably more than you. You're higher on the Jets than I am. I really do think Aaron Glenn is a horrible head coach, but at the end of the day, roster matters. The roster construction definitely does, and at the end of the day, the Jets still do have more talent overall than the Dolphins, but I do think there is a world where you having Malik Willis and seeing what he was able to do last season with the Packers. I know his team is way more stacked in Green Bay, but at the end of the day, if you get a quarterback, on your team like a Malik Willis, who potentially you feel like can give you more wins and help you win games. He's that's what he's gonna do, man. He's gonna get you more wins, more than you probably would have liked. Which in this scenario, maybe not a bad thing, It just depends really at the end of the day what Miami's plan is for the future with their draft picks and everything. But I still do think they're probably gonna lose out here. And I wouldn't be surprised if they are a 4-13 team as well. I think I probably have them at that record as well. But yeah, so moving on to the third team though.
Yeah, so my third team, I was with you as well. I have the New York Jets, who I'm going to say it right after the draft, and I told Josh this. I said I wouldn't be surprised if they finished second in the division and made the playoffs. Since then, I've toned it back a little bit. I think I was kind of on a draft high because I love their draft this year and last year. So I'm thinking probably 7-10 is what I give them this year. I do like what they did in free agency. However, I will say the construction of the roster is a little strange because on one hand, they did bring in some vets, and on the other hand, they're also a really young team. So it's kind of, they have two different, I guess, paths in a way, to where it's almost like the Rockets of, like a worse version of the Rockets for the NFL version. It's like you have all these older vets, but then you also have all these younger players. And it's just like, how do you mix that together? But they did do a lot of good moves to revamp their defense. They bring in Demario Davis, David Onyemata, Nahshon Wright, who I'm pretty high on actually. They trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick for a 7th-round pick, which is great value. They trade for Devondre Sweat. They trade away Jermaine Johnson to the Titans, so he reunites with Robert Saleh back in Tennessee. Obviously, probably their most questionable move, they trade for Geno Smith. He's back with the Jets. But I really think they're building a good foundation of a roster for a potential quarterback next year. I think that's kind of their goal right now. They even drafted Kate Klubnik. Who knows? Maybe he turns into something. But yeah, man, they had a good draft. Man, it's kind of a shame. Like, if Dolphins ever got this haul, I would have been ecstatic if we had the same picks that they did. But they went David Bailey, who honestly I wasn't as high on, to be honest, as most people, but I still think he'll be a really good player. Love the Kenyon Sadiq pick. They pair him with Mason Taylor, who they drafted in the 2nd round last year. They get Omar Cooper Jr. at pick 30 or 31, but great value right there. I thought he would go mid-teens. And then you get D'Angelo Ponds in the 2nd round, who's just an absolute dog. But the only reason he fell was because he's small. But Duke can lock wide receivers down. So I love that pick. Yeah, man, it's like I feel really comfortable about their team. It's just the quarterback that really is messing me up. And to your point, Aaron Glenn is a little bit sus. There's some areas where I just need to see. I don't like how he had to fire his entire staff basically after last year. That's a little bit concerning. I think that's one of the things I look at with new head coaches is what kind of staff can you build around yourself? And that was kind of my issue with Brian Flores when he was a head coach, because for one, no one really wanted to work with him. And so he's hiring maybe guys who aren't ready for the roles that they're in. And so it seemed like that may have been a similar case to Aaron Glenn. So he brings in a new staff, but I still want to see more from him. I'm not going to say he's trash or anything yet, but he is definitely on the hot seat if he has another terrible year. And if you're the Jets and you go 3-14, 4-13, might as well bring in a new head coach along with your new quarterback next year. But, you know, if they show steps in the right direction, you know, be in the playoff bubble, not even make the playoffs, but I think that could be really good for them and could save Aaron Glenn his job. So we'll have to see about that. It is rough when the two shakiest parts of your team is Aaron Glenn and your quarterback position. It's usually not a great recipe, but the rest of the roster is what carries them to me, so I have them in third.
Yeah, I'm still going to have the Jets in third as well. I'm going to have them at a 6-11 record. The big thing to me, you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but the Geno Smith signing, man, is just really weird. I know they mainly did it probably because they obviously needed a quarterback at the end of the day, but I just don't like it. I just don't, man. I don't like the signing personally. And then I like I said, I still don't like Aaron Glenn as a head coach. The Jets to me is still just one of those teams as time goes on where it's just like there's just diamonds on this team and it's really rough to flesh them out when the most important position players you have on your team are just, you're not evaluating or taking as much, you're not putting as much value into those positions like the quarterback. Like, dude, as long as I've been alive, they've had issue with the quarterback. They need to get it fixed, man. Like, you got to get a guy in. And I know they were probably hoping for Dante Moore being that guy going into this next draft, but that obviously didn't happen. So yeah, honestly, if I'm a Jets fan, I know it sounds horrible, but ideally you might actually want the Jets to underperform. You might want Geno Smith and Aaron Glenn to actually be really bad this season again, just so you can have another top pick and get the quarterback that you need, because I truly do think they are actually one good quarterback away, one good future QB away from actually being able to contend in the AFC East. And with how unsure, you don't really know how the Pats and Bills are going to be, in the future. Obviously, the Bills still have Josh Allen and that group of guys. They've been around in this division for a long time now. So they're usually consistently up there, but they never can put together a team that really solidifies their ability to win the division or be even dominant in the playoffs. So they kind of go back and forth every year, dependent on, which other players are going off in that season. And then the Pats, man, like at the end of the day, they are coming off of a Super Bowl appearance. At the end of the day, like facts are facts, man. And they're coming off a year where they still had the easiest schedule of all time. So a lot of question marks for those two teams. If you're a Jets fan, I think you take one more hit this year and just pray you get a quarterback like a Dante Moore. And I really do think realistically, if you get a guy like Dante Moore, I think you're actually primed in a better position moving forward than you would be currently.
For sure, man. And it's not even lack of trying to draft a QB too, because they've taken their swings, this past draft with Kate Klubnik, 6th-round pick, but still, even before the season, he was projected to be a number 1 pick, 1st-round pick, I should say, potentially the number 1 overall pick. But you've also drafted Zach Wilson, you've drafted Sam Darnold, you drafted Christian Hackenberg, going back, Geno Smith, Mark Sanchez, all these guys, but they just cannot find the guys. So I think, like you said, potentially next year, hopefully you're not in a bad spot to where you're picking between like 10 and 15. That's probably not where you're wanting to pick. But, they've had a lot of draft picks over the years. They do have draft capital to trade up. So that might have been their mindset. But here's the thing. If you're one of the top 5 teams with a top 5 pick, are you wanting to trade back in this draft class? I'm not sure. So you're going to have to hope maybe a team like the Raiders, who don't need a quarterback, the Titans, one of those teams finishes in the top 5. So that could be your trade back partner. But yeah, I'm thinking a lot of these teams at the top will take QB. So they're kind of in an interesting spot, like you were saying. But Josh, I'll let you take it. Who is finishing 2nd in the AFC East?
I do think the Patriots are going to be 2nd here. Hot take. I do think they are going to finish with a record of 10-7, which is still pretty good. But I do think they take a 4 hit. Like, I think they went 14-3 last year, so I do think they lose 4 wins here. Besides the AJ Brown move, which who knows how that's going to turn out. To me personally, you're bringing in a guy that's pretty toxic to already a Patriots team that's already dealing with some interesting things. I guess that's the easiest way I can put it. I can only imagine how Drake May's feeling right now, being in the scenario that he's in with what his head coach is going through. And I mean, you know how Robert Kraft is as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Patriots really made too many moves to really improve upon what they were able to do last year. Nothing super credible besides the AJ Brown deal, which you're kind of hoping he can be that major weapon for them that they're missing in that Super Bowl game, make big plays, which he did a lot with the Eagles when they were able to use him. But besides that, man, I didn't really see much. I didn't really see much of a change, in one of the big things that I felt like they needed, which was their O-line. I don't think we're going to really see a big improvement there going into this season. I think that'll hurt them a little bit more. I think they kept pretty much majority of the same roster. I don't think they had anyone major leave the squad I can't think of. Do you have anyone idea that I'm missing?
I think just Clavon Chason, I think, left, but I don't know. I think other than that, they pretty much have the same roster and just added at that point.
Yeah, and I felt like through the draft, they didn't really, I don't know, did you like their draft at all? I didn't really see much of a big difference in the draft either, to be honest with you.
No, and I'll tell you why I did not like their draft is it's not so much of the players they drafted, but it was the direction they were going.
For the positional, yeah.
Well, not even positional, but I think so they drafted Caleb Lomu late in the first round. They drafted Gabe Yakis in the second round, and I don't mind them taking those positions. It's just I don't think those are day one ready guys. Those are guys more so So you have Morgan Moses on the right side of your O-line, and you're kind of hoping in a year or two, once Morgan Moses retires, moves on, because he's up there in age, that Caleb Lomu takes that spot. And then, Yakis, he's pretty much a project. And, for a team that's coming off of the Super Bowl, why do you want guys that are going to take time to get on the field? Like, don't you want guys who can help you immediately once you're in this window already? So it's not really the players. It's more of just the direction that they're going in. So it was probably one of my least favorite drafts, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to put them 10-7.
Yeah.
Just because at the end of the day, man, if you go into the Super Bowl, I say it a lot, man. I've been saying it. Weakest schedule in NFL history. You kind of want to go into the season to prove that wrong, and hopefully, you can have another really good season out of the already current roster that you have. But I felt like they needed to add more than just AJ Brown to this team to kind of up the ante a little bit, and they had the ability to. I just feel like they weren't as aggressive as they could have been. So
yeah, I mean, we're pretty on par with everything. I also have the Patriots finishing second, and I would say I have them as well at 10-7. That feels like a good record for them. You already mentioned the AJ Brown. Coming into free agency, they had a lot of cap space, so I was expecting them to go crazy, just get all the top dogs. They kind of went in a different direction. They went more with, I guess, not maybe tier 1 guys, but more tier 2, tier 3, spreading out, positions across the roster. They bring in Romeo Doubs, so he's going to get paired with AJ Brown. They bring in Elijah Vera Tucker, who is a good guard when he's on the field, but that's the thing, is he has trouble staying healthy, so if he can stay on the field, that would be great for them. Draymond Jones, they take nose tackle, great run stuffer, so I actually did like that signing. And they get Kevin Byard, who isn't the same player he was, especially in Tennessee. Played pretty good in Chicago, but now he's with the Patriots, so that was a pretty good signing. Traded for Garrett Bradbury. So they really did try to fix the O-line. I'm just not sure if that O-line is going to look the same at the end of the season. Obviously, it won't, because everyone's O-line usually takes a hit. Maybe 1 or 2 teams get a healthy 5 for most of the year. But they're taking swings on guys who are kind of injury prone, especially with Bradbury and Elijah Vera Tucker. But, I guess if you look at it that way with Caleb Lomu, at least you have a 6th guy to come in and could possibly play guard. But still, I would have went with a different direction there. You kind of already touched on it, but the Mike Vrabel situation, who knows where his mind is at. And yeah, man, it's just the schedule as well. Like the Patriots, they looked beatable a lot of last year. Even
a lot of close games too.
A lot of close games. They played really good against the Texans, but then the next game, I forget if it was a snowstorm or like a rainstorm, but when they played the Broncos in the AFC Championship, it's like, man, if Bo Nix was healthy that game, the Denver would have been in the Super Bowl. Pretty much no questions asked, because it came down to a field goal, I think. But, man, I don't know. They're still a good team. I agree. I don't think they'll be as dominant, so I will have them as well at 10-7.
Yep.
Which leaves the Buffalo Bills. Josh?
I know it hurts for you, man. I know it hurts. I know it hurts you a lot, man. But at the end of the day, I think the Bills will take the division this year.
Choke again in the playoffs.
Unlike the previous, probably. Let's be real. It's a normal thing nowadays. But I do think we'll see the Bills take the division. Still a very good roster. I mean, same names as always. You have Josh Allen, you have James Cook. I mean, you still have Sean McDermott. I'm pretty sure, right?
No,
That's right. They got rid of him. That's what I thought. Joe Brady. That's right. I forgot. Joe Brady is very interesting when he got hired, in my opinion. But as far as I know,
hilarious.
yeah, I was not expecting Joe Brady when he got hired. I totally forgot about that. As far as I know, if I remember correctly, though, when he got hired, Josh Allen was a very big proponent of him getting hired because, as far as I know, I'm pretty sure I heard that Josh Allen really enjoys his offensive scheme and what vision he can bring to the Bills. Which matters a lot, man, because, you know, they have some nice weapons on that side. Wide receiver, you still don't really have a number one.
Hey, they got DJ Moore, though.
That is true. And that could be big. I don't know what Joe Brady's whole premise is of using DJ Moore. But, I mean, DJ Moore, he's a nice vet to have in the room. You still have guys like Keon Coleman as well. Shakir is still there. I think they also picked up...
Shakir's good.
I think they also picked up... Josh Palmer. They picked him up as well. You still have the 2 tight end duo in Kincaid and Knox. So, I mean, if DJ Moore can still have, you know, the production you hope he can have, then that's great. Keon Coleman, man, I don't know at this point if he's going to be a big addition on the wide receiver group, but if you have guys like DJ Moore and Shakir,
cooked.
Yeah, probably. I wouldn't be surprised. Defensive wise, I mean, you got Bradley Chubb. You have CJ Gardner-Johnson.
Mad at to this day. How'd you go Buffalo? Whatever. Okay.
I mean, they have CJ Gardner-Johnson, am I right?
They do.
Yeah. I mean, their
annoying
defense, I'm interested to see how the defense does. I'm really interested to see how they do without Sean McDermott, because I feel like if there's been anything Sean McDermott has been able to do is keep the Bills defense, you know, very, I'm trying to think of the word, but at least, you know, relevant and a part of the game a lot more. But especially once they get to the playoffs, though, they do kind of get exposed on the defensive side. I'm not going to lie. But maybe that's a part of it. Maybe McDermott just kind of gets exposed a lot more in the playoffs. But, man, he's been the head coach for the team for a while, so it's a part of it, too. I totally forgot Toriano Pride is on the team as well. He's a backup corner, which is very interesting. I mean, I like their linebackers. I think the offense will probably be better once again for the Bills. I'm just really interested to see what their defense is going to look like without Sean McDermott, because for years people have argued that he's been majority of the reason why the defense has still been very valuable and, you know, very competent for many years, even with the additions that they've made and people that they've lost over time. So we'll see. But record wise, I would probably go with 12-5. I don't know. I don't think they'll probably get 13. I think they'll squeeze out in the division pretty close with the Patriots. Wouldn't be surprised if they go 11-6 as well.
Yeah. So you kind of covered a lot of it. Defense, you know, if they stay healthy, a lot of those guys, it's a pretty solid defense. They get TJ Parker as well in the draft, who I thought is a good project, good fit for the Bills too. That's the kind of situation I wanted him to go to. But yeah, I have them winning 13 in the division. You know, what I think is really frustrating if you're a Bills fan is you're always going to dominate with Josh Allen in the regular season. You know, as long as he's healthy, you're going to make the playoffs. The problem is, it's a bummer that you can't capitalize on Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson all missing the playoffs in the exact same year. That, to me, has to break the hearts of a lot of Bills fans, because that's not going to happen again. Those three aren't going to miss the playoffs in the same year ever again. So I think this past year was Buffalo's best chance to win, to not even win, but to make it to a Super Bowl. They could not capitalize on it. And so I think this is just going to have to mark the Bills and Josh Allen until they finally get over the hump that they just aren't playoff performers. And, you know, they've won some playoff games, but they just haven't been able to make it past that hump. And it's even more brutal when Drake May comes in his second year of the Patriots and makes it to the Super Bowl. So, I don't know. I think they definitely needed a change from Sean McDermott. Definitely would not have went the Joe Brady route, but that's what they did. I think they could have easily gotten a new head coach and then still kept Joe Brady. I don't think he's leaving anywhere else for a head coaching job or another offensive coordinator job, but who knows? Maybe not. They did go Joe Brady. We'll see how that defense is. I'm not sure. It'll probably take a step back, but yeah, I think they'll do what they do in the regular season, and we'll just have to see how we do in the playoffs,
man. Because to be honest with you, I did forget to mention as well, like, majority of the games that the Bills have lost in the playoffs, it's not even really Josh Allen's fault. Like, majority of it, to be honest, he kind of is like modern Peyton Manning in a way, in certain aspects, where it's just like his defense really does let up a lot, man. It's crazy. Like, dude, the divisional round against the Broncos, 33? You can't be doing that, man. You just can't be doing that. Like, I mean, you easily have Josh Allen, who's going to secure you a 30 bomb at least in the playoffs. And the Bills defense just hasn't been able to stop anyone. Like, realistically, ever since the Chiefs beat the Bills the last time, ever since then, dude, they have not been able to keep up defensively. Like, I can't even remember the last time they've had a moment in the playoffs where their defense has actually kept a team from outscoring their offense. And that's really their main issue. It's because they just haven't really been able to rebuild their defense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call... Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is the defense for sure, but still, you know, there's some games where it's like, yeah, you're just going to have to put on the cape and be Josh Allen, because a lot of people are...
He does it a lot, man.
Football.
He does it a lot.
Well, okay, but Mahomes has done the same thing and has won Super Bowls doing it.
Yeah, but Mahomes is like...
And people are calling
possibly one of the great
Mahomes.
Whoa.
Right now.
I'm not...
Yeah, I would say half the people out
different
there...
tiers, man. Different tiers.
No. I'm willing to bet that at least half NFL fans have Josh Allen over Patrick Mahomes currently today.
I mean, Josh Allen individually looks better, like, at least definitely recently, but it's like prime Pat Mahomes, like when they were on their winning spree for Super Bowls. I mean, there's really not much you could do. I mean, Joe Burrow even looked more competent against the Chiefs than Josh Allen in the games that he's played against them.
I guess what I'm saying...
But the Chiefs always do outscore them like crazy. The Bills defense just can't do anything against the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
At least
But
the
if you're
past.
in that conversation for the best quarterback in football and you can't make it over the hump, that's an issue. You know, we can only say it's on the defense for so long. And yeah, it's true. A lot of it is on the defense. Josh Allen does play pretty well in most
Yeah, I'm not saying
games.
all of it. I'm just saying a lot of it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think last year was the year for them to strike, and yeah, it's kind of a bummer. And I think even everyone kind of felt it too, because I remember when they lost that playoff game, all the posts that were coming out of just how bad people feel for Josh Allen, and that because the last year was the year for them to do it, and who knows now, because you have, you know, Patrick Mahomes will be back, Joe Burrow will be back, Lamar's coming back, Drake May's there. You know, there's always other guys too. You know, you got Bo Nix out there. So who knows, man? But luckily for them, I think they're in a pretty favorable division for them, you know, because all they really have to do is compete with the Patriots. And I kind of like their odds. So,
And as in like
both have the same four.
as in recent memory, they've done pretty good against the Pats too. So
Yep. So Bills 1, Patriots 2, Jets 3, and Dolphins 4. And that's for both of us.
oh, and I did just want to put out real quick. I did do the math and look up the stat. If you go through the Bills playoffs from 2020 till now, if you average out the opponent's points against the Bills in all those playoffs from 2020 to 2025, they lost to the Chiefs 4 times, the Bengals once, and the Broncos once. You want to know what the opponent's points averages out to over those six playoffs? 33 points.
Well, win the game. I don't know.
Yeah. The only one game I see off the bat that you could for sure blame Josh Allen on was the Bengals game back in 22. It was 10-27. That's pretty bad. That's bad. I've totally forgot about that game, but yeah, that I forgot about that one.
Mr. January. Josh Allen.
But yeah, 33 opponent points is crazy. Through those 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But, all right, you ready to jump to the NFC East?
The NFC, where I belong.
Where you reside.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you go ahead and start it for us?
The NFC East. Man. Growing up, used to be known as the best division in all of football. But now, it's pretty darn poop. But
Yeah.
we're starting off with the most poopiest of poops in this division. And I'm going to go ahead and say the worst team in this division in the NFC East going into next year is going to be the Commanders.
Okay.
Is that not a hot take for you?
Now they're my fourth, so.
Oh, really? Yes. Why are we? Oh my gosh, we're agreeing so much. Yes.
Which, to be honest, man, I've changed my mind multiple times with the NFC East.
It's mainly the last 3.
Honestly, I've really struggled figuring out.
We know who the number 1 is, right? Like it's all easy who we know the number 1 team is.
Well, we'll see, I guess.
Come on, man. You just don't. Yeah. Might talk to Zach on a different day. If you talk to him tomorrow, he might have a different pick. Who knows? But yeah, man, I don't think Chris Paul is leading this team far.
Their guard.
Yeah, the left guard, Chris Paul. That's how I always remember the Commanders.
Brothers.
Chris Paul.
Dolphins legend left tackle, Patrick.
Just
Paul.
because they're sponsored by State Farm, it doesn't mean they're going to get far. Bars.
So what's your record prediction for them?
Commanders, I actually think they will be the probably best, or at least one of the best losingest teams in the NFL. And I think that's because I would not be shocked if they were like a 5-11 team.
Yeah.
And I think that's just solely based off of the fact that I don't know what they're doing with this team anymore. I don't understand what the plan is for roster construction at this rate. Man, the first year looked pretty good with the new roster that they had put together. Jaden Daniels' first year with new head coach
Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn, yep. I knew it was Quinn, but I couldn't think of his first name. Dan Quinn, yeah. And then obviously you also had Cliff Kingsbury as their new OC. But guess what, man? Cliff's not here anymore. As I had predicted last year, which we didn't record, but I told you, man, last year, Cliff has a tendency of doing really good in his first year for some reason, or at least like half of his first year. And then when you get into next year, it just explodes right in your face. Pause. And you know what's funny, man? The Commanders, for some reason, they just have a fascination with injured quarterbacks. I don't know what it is, man.
Dang.
It's really sad because I'm not trying to say Jaden Daniels is an injury-prone player, but they really didn't do much for this O-line to really protect Jaden Daniels either. So all I have to say is they didn't do much to get RG3 help. It looks like they're not doing much to get Jaden Daniels any help. They brought in Rashad White, woohoo. Terry McLaurin is still there with his big contract. They brought in Treylon Burks as well, who Zach is in love with. Luke McCaffrey, the better McCaffrey brother, as some would say. The defense, man, I don't know. I think the defense is going to be worse than last year, which is not much because the defense was already really bad last year. So
I was actually going to say that's a high bar.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think there's, most people would say, there's nothing more than going up from here, I don't see anything going up from here for defense. But I do think there is a world where the 5 wins are mainly coming from the offense, and that's just because Jaden Daniels, I think there is still a hope that he could really pull together a really nice season. I just really hope the dude can survive behind that O-line that they have going into this season. They really didn't make any big adjustments to what they needed from last year. I think Dan Quinn is even more on the hot seat coming into this season. Don't be shocked if he gets fired this season. The dude just comes in, does really well, and then he just really can't seem to stay consistent. So that's why I got them at 5-12.
And I also have them at 4th, like we talked about. I have them going 6-11, so just one higher. I totally agree. I think they're going to be one of the best 4th teams, in their division. But, they came into this offseason with a decent amount of cap space. Wasn't sure what direction they would go in. Their big splash was Odafe away. Gave him like $100 million or something like that. So
yeah,
a deal for that. They just made a lot of, similar to the Patriots, tier 2, tier 3 moves. Leo Chanel, I thought was a good bargain deal. Amik Robertson. They got Clavon Chason. Chigakonkwo, which I'm super high on in general. Was hoping the Dolphins would get him. Good signing there. Tim Settle, Nick Cross, Jerome Ford, Akilio Witherspoon. So they just went more of filling out the roster, filling out the depth, which I don't mind that logic. I think that's really important, and that's how you go deeper into the playoffs. So, man, I was even thinking having them at second at one point in this division. Like, that's how close I think it is. I don't think it's a huge gap, 2 and 4. I have a team I'm pretty sure is going to be number 1, but 2 through 4 is tough. But I have the Commanders here. You know, that year, 2 years ago, when they went deep into the playoffs, I felt it was a lot of Jaden Daniels' hero ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then with all the injuries, Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin missed time. They've had injuries along the offense and defense. And so it was one of those type of years. They just didn't have enough. And I'm not sure, even with healthy Jaden Daniels, you have enough to duplicate what he did 2 years ago, his rookie season. I think they have to keep building this roster, especially the defense, like you mentioned. They tried, they brought in a lot, see if someone can stick and see what happens there. I really like Dan Quinn. He might be on hot seat alert, depending on how their season goes. I still think he's a pretty solid coach, but we'll have to see with that. But yeah, I have them at 4th. And so, the third team that I have, and I really struggled with this one too, but I have the New York Giants at 3rd. And this might be our first difference because I feel like you have them somewhere else. But the Giants, they get who I think was the prized possession as the head coach, John Harbaugh. And instantly, I think that just upgrades the whole team without even bringing in any addition. They get John Harbaugh. He brings some of his guys. He brings Isaiah Likely. He brings Patrick Ricard. He goes out there and tries to bring the Ravens' identity. He gets Tremaine Edmonds, Greg Newsome, brings in a solid wide receiver to put next to Malik Neighbors with Darnell Mooney. They had a good draft. You get Arvell Reese, Francis Mauigoa, Colton Hood, Malachi Fields. Really like their draft. To be fair, kind of hard to mess up because of how many picks they had too, especially 2 picks in the top 10, which is amazing. But yeah, I'm honestly not the biggest Jackson Dart guy. Josh knows that. Don't know. I may be lower on him than a lot of people. I think a lot of people are expecting a ginormous jump. I could see his rookie year being kind of his baseline where he'll hang around. He'll probably improve, but I don't know how high the ceiling is. Just my opinion. Cam Scatteraboo, I know people are really excited about him, but also we can't just forget the gruesome injury he had. Who knows how he's going to be.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm worried about some of the hits he takes as well. And Jackson Dart, he takes too many hits as well. So hopefully John Harbaugh can knock some sense into him. But John Harbaugh, he's used to it because he had Lamar Jackson. But Lamar at least was, especially later on in his career, more mindful about the hits he takes. So
right,
if he could get that into Dart's mind, then that would be good. But they get a healthy Malik Neighbors. They get Darnell Mooney, like I mentioned, Isaiah Likely. So they're putting weapons around Jackson Dart, basically, which is a good thing. They're building up the offensive line. Francis Mauigoa. They have Evan Neal still. They paid their right tackle. So they're really trying to build that up, is what I'm saying.
right.
It's hard losing Dexter Lawrence for sure. That was a big hit they took. However, their D-line is still incredible. I mean, if they still had Dexter Lawrence, it would be 5. One of the best D-lines I've ever seen in my life. Because you have Brian Burns, you have Kayvon Thibodeau, who could be traded. You have Who's the guy they took last year, like 3rd overall?
Oh, Abdul Carter.
Abdul Carter. Yeah, they have Abdul Carter. They had
Yeah, they're best
Ardell
friends.
Reese, who fell to number 5. Darton's Carter. Yeah. 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 I mean,
Yeah, test buds.
So you have all these guys to rush the passer, which is incredible. You know, they're trying to work on their linebacker core, their secondary, of course. And usually once you get a new head coach, get a fresh face in there, I think it really helps the building in general, the whole organization. So I think just all of that combined, I could see them being the number 2 in the division, but I have them at number 3, possibly making a wild card too. So I'm going to have them around 9 and 8. So, Josh, who is in your 3rd spot?
You got the Giants 9 and 8.
Prince. I got the Giants 9 and 8.
Wow. Okay. So, fun fact. I also have the Giants as 3rd.
Oh, snap.
So, John Harbaugh's first year, I don't expect them to be absolutely insane in their first year, especially coming off of a very injury-riddled season from Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo. So, I think we'll see the team make some strides going into this next season, and I probably would put them around the same boat. You said 9 and 8. Kind of weird. I think there's a chance they might get a tie, to be honest with you. But it's just kind of one of those teams, though. I could see them go 9 and 8, 8 and 8 and 1, maybe 8 and 9. They're just gonna be in that mid flux of records. I could see, just because
I like the tie. You stick with the tie. That's fun.
I don't know why, but this team gives me at least a 1 tie feeling. I mean, there's always at least one team every season that gets it, man. And I think this is a team that would, for sure. But I think there's a lot of nice talent on this team moving forward. I just think it's still young, though. And that's why you get a guy like John Harbaugh, because he's kind of like, he's really that nice head coach that can come in and really be that middle guy between the ages, where it's like, you know, I've been in this league, I've coached the Ravens for so long, my whole career, and he's just going to be a really nice veteran coach for this team, and wouldn't be surprised if the Giants make the playoffs next year. But I do still think they're at least one removed from getting there. And I would say another really good draft, and I wouldn't be surprised if they make a big signing next season in the off season as well. And they have the money to do it, obviously, man. It's the Giants, let's be real. But I think it was smart for them to not make any drastic moves this year, because I felt like they could have, but they didn't. And I'm happy that they didn't, and they're more focused on developing the guys that they already have in the locker room. So we'll see how they do. I think they'll be a decent team, and they'll definitely give some teams a run for their money, but it's not time yet. But don't be surprised going into next year that they make some big moves. So
Yeah, I like that. So actually, I'll let you go off when it gets to the number 1. I'll start with the number 2 and the NFC East, and I have the Dallas Cowboys. And I think I will have them going 10 and 7 this year. They changed a lot over the past year or so. Obviously, trading Micah Parsons right before the season last year. And ever since then, they've been trying to shift their culture to stopping the run. That was Jerry Jones's big spiel, why he ended up trading Micah Parsons and wanting to, you know, I guess, use some of his money that he would have got towards filling out the rest of the team as a whole, which I don't mind that logic. still wouldn't have traded him, but they get Kenny Clark in that deal. They bring in Rashawn Gary they draft Malachi Lawrence. They have Donovan Ezraku from last year. They have Overshown, who, if he's healthy, he's a monster, especially coming off the edge, blitzing. And then they really tried to upgrade the secondary. Jalen Thompson, Kobe Bryant, EJ Locke. And the draft, they get Caleb Downs, which is incredible how he fell to 11.
Yeah.
So they really worked on that defense over the past year or so. And I think it's going to be better than it was last year. And on the other side of the ball, that's where things really get together. Dak, I think, say what you want about him. He's a good quarterback. He's going to win you games. He does his job. They have two of the best receivers in football right now. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb.
That's the best 1 and 2.
Year, for sure. Well, yeah, maybe. I'm thinking of Jamar and T. Higgins, but they're at least top 2 or 3.
Yep.
For sure. George Pickens was probably better than CeeDee Lamb last year. CeeDee Lamb's probably a better receiver in general. So you have that. They have the O-line of the Tylers, Guyton, Smith, Booker, which is good. They have, what's his face from the Broncos? Javonte Williams, who had a really good year last year.
Absolutely breakout season. Yep.
Breakout season.
Which we've been waiting on forever.
Yeah, man. He finally broke out, getting out of Denver. Brian Schottenheimer, he was better than I thought. I kind of thought he was just a Jerry puppet, to be honest. Someone who
still kind of is
comfortable with. But, I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought he was pretty good for them last year, so we'll have to see how he does again this year. But, yeah, I have them finishing as number 2 as long as Dak stays healthy to me. I struggle seeing them finish 3rd and 4th in a healthy Dak year. So 10-7 is my guess for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think I would still say at least 10-7. I would not be surprised if they go 11-6 even, just because of how high I am on their offense. I think their offense is going to be even better this year, especially with hopefully the resurgence of CeeDee Lamb. Had a little bit of a rough year, but man, if I really do feel like CeeDee and George Pickens are just going to absolutely destroy teams this year with Dak. And as long as Dak has a healthy year, and it looks like, as time goes on, he's actually staying a lot more healthy going into these seasons. I think that's even a big part of that has been his change in his health. I think he's actually more of a vegan diet nowadays. I'm pretty sure I hope I'm right on that, but as far as I know, I'm pretty sure he's changed his diet a lot. Yeah, but it's obviously working because the man is playing games. So,
that man's some protein.
Yeah, I don't know if it's vegan or more of a vegetarian diet, but as far as I know, he's taken way more of a big step in his diet. And I've at least noticed it because the man is staying a lot more healthy. He seems a lot more active in games, it seems. I think during the regular season, he actually looked a lot more consistent last year, in my opinion, than he has in recent memory. So that was a good sign. But I think their offense is going to be one of the best offenses in football this upcoming season. It's really more on the defense. Like how good can the Cowboys defense be? And that's normally how it goes. Just when you have guys like George Pickens and Dak and CeeDee Lamb on your roster. So we'll see how it goes. I think I was kind of cool with it when they traded Micah. I know people are still kind of weirded out by that. I do feel like they could have gotten a better deal for him. I think it's mainly the trade that people kind of don't like because they probably could have gotten more from Green Bay. But at the end of the day, I really don't mind the whole change in scheme because I feel like them going from a guy like Micah Parson, who's more of a pass rusher, to more of run heavy defense is really more ideal for the Cowboys, because as of recent memory, teams are kind of more going back towards their running back just because of how defensive schemes are. I think Micah Parsons was really nice when like the Chiefs were running the league and the league was more pass heavy. But as the years are going on, the league has kind of figured out how to take away wide receivers as time goes on. So it's becoming more run heavy than it's been in the past several years. So I really don't mind them as much switching to that. If they would have done that like 5 years ago, I probably would have lost my mind. But as time keeps going on, man, I really don't think it's the worst thing they could have done. So
Yeah, I like it, man.
don't really have much else to say, but it's really dependent on what the defense is going to look like. And I really don't hate the decision of moving on from Micah, because even though he is like one of the best pass rushers and one of the best defensive players in the game, at the end of the day, he's very limited when it comes to the run game, and it really did hurt them a lot. So
yeah, I like that. And so that means, dude, we have the exact same for both the AFC East and the NFC.
I'm glad you came around, Zach.
I didn't come around to anything. Whatever. Go ahead.
The Philadelphia Eagles, Nick Sirianni, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Jalen Hurts, one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life, to be honest with you. No,
My gosh.
I'm kidding. But yeah, dude, they had a really good offseason, in my opinion. Really changed up the team, in my opinion. Had a really good draft, and I know you hate it, but it's okay. That's just what they do. That's what Howie Roseman does. He cooks in the draft. I'm really excited this season, dude. I'm really happy for Devonta Smith that he gets to finally be the number one guy after all this time. They got the most toxic player, at least one of the most toxic players I've seen in the NFL of recent memory.
Yep.
So they're on highs, man. Like, and Jalen Hurts is super excited for this offense. He's been talking about it a lot. Don't be surprised if Devonta Smith becomes, I would say, one of the best wide receivers in the league. I know that's might be a little crazy, but don't be shocked, bro. Honestly, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a Heisman winner, and the man is finally getting the chance to be that number one guy that we really hoped he could be for the Philadelphia Eagles when he first was drafted. And we knew this time was coming. It maybe took a little bit longer than we would have thought, but here we are, man. But yeah, the offense is probably going to be very exciting. And the defense, man, it's still there. I mean, they still got the man, the myth, the legend on defense, Jalen Carter from Georgia. Not only is he killing people on the streets of Georgia, he's also killing people on the field. So,
wow. Gross. All right.
I'm surprised you didn't chuckle a little bit when I said that, but I'll take it. And I have them at 13-4.
Yeah. That's about what I have them at too.
I was thinking about maybe 12-5, but 13-4. They just run the division at this point. So,
yeah, totally agree. Have them at 13-4. Definitely had a team shift over this offseason with trading AJ Brown. They get, continue to bolster their defense, get Tariq Woolen, Jonathan Jones, Arnold Evakady, who I love. Down the other side, they bring in Damian Pierce, They bring in Elijah Moore. You talked about Mekhi Lemon. They get Eli Stowers as well. And so it's going to be a lot more motion, a lot less physical. It'll still be a physical team, but you'll see more variety within their offense. I think will take time. But Eagles, man, I mean, as much as I don't like Nick Sirianni, and I don't to this day, I got to give the roses to Howie Roseman, because that guy knows how to build a team, and he just always stockpiles. They always get value in the draft. They always make smart free agent signings, and it's a well-oiled machine right now that they got going in Philly, and it's going to be hard to stop. So
even though they
always make the right plays,
even though they've won one Super Bowl, Howie Roseman to me is probably the closest thing to a Sam Presti, in my opinion. But take that as you will.
yeah.
Dude just always know how to keep. He keeps his draft picks, bro. He always has draft capital every year. He's always able to retool the roster every year, pander towards the guys that he has on the roster. He just always finds ways to keep this team winning every year.
Yeah, and he's doing it with Jalen Hurts, who's a good quarterback, but he's not like tier one. You know, he's probably between like 8 to 15, in my opinion.
And that really depends what type of season he's having too, because he's had better seasons than others, you know. Can't really talk much about last season, but
yeah, it was bad last season. Like, I think it actually helps, like, addition by subtraction, getting rid of AJ Brown. It's gonna be fun to see Devontae Smith as the true number one receiver, which I think he's already a one receiver. He was just on a team with another one, so him finally getting his own team, he'll be a fun fantasy player for sure. He's a guy I'm kind of looking at in fantasy, but gonna be a new look. Excited to see how they do. Still think they own the NFC East.
after all these years. For some reason, the Cowboys can just never solidify for some reason. I don't know why.
Man. We them boys.
Yeah, we them boys of never winning our division.
We them boys of...
If I remember correctly, I think the last time they won their division was literally when I was in high school.
Did they win when we were in high school?
I thought they did. That first year when they had Dak and Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like
when they told Tony Romo to sit his butt on the bench and be a good boy.
Go to the broadcast. Good boy.
Yeah. Even though Tony Romo was the reason why they got there in the first place. But it's okay. It's not like I'm still hurt.
Who's the Tony Romo of
the current NFL
generation?
Dude.
Yeah. I think.
That is a great question.
Is it Justin Herbert?
Is it? Tony Romo wasn't like flashy, like I would.
Yeah, but he was always good.
Maybe we haven't seen the Tony Romo yet. Maybe he's not here yet.
It's Malik Willis. Is it just Dak Prescott?
Maybe it's Jalen Hurts, bro. But he won a Super Bowl, though. Tony Romo can get a Super Bowl. Honestly,
maybe it's Bo Nix.
It could be. Honestly, bro, it could be Dak. It could still be another Cowboy. Because Dak Dak does have good seasons, man. It just
Dak's a good quarterback.
it's pretty much the same as Tony Romo, where it just doesn't pan out in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It just they can never win it all for some reason.
Niche.
Or Jared Goff. Thoughts?
That's a good one too.
Thoughts?
What are we considering Jared Goff? Are we considering him like a top 10 QB? I think I have him in my top 10.
I don't know if I still do.
He's in my top 10.
I maybe had him in it the one year that they won like 14 games, but
Let me think.
I still kind of felt like he wasn't insane though. Like I know he had a big year, but I don't know, man. Jared Goff weirds me out. I'm not gonna lie. Like
Okay. Mahomes. I'm just saying the QBs I know are ahead of him. Mahomes, Josh Allen, Stafford, Lamar, Burrow, Drake May, maybe Caleb.
Jacoby,
Stop.
Sam
Other than
Darnold.
that, is there
Come on, man. Come on, man. You got to give Sam Darnold the nod at this point.
I don't know. No, I don't.
Dude, what? All right,
I'm
bro.
not saying he's better than Jared Goff.
All right. Jalen Hurts?
No, I'm taking Jared Goff.
What?
Easy.
You're
It's very hard to be.
You're diabolical. You're a
That's not
diabolical
what I meant.
individual. Jared Goff is your Jimmy Garoppolo, and it makes me sick.
Bro, are you saying he's not a good quarterback?
You didn't even mention Justin Herbert.
Jared Goff's better than Justin Herbert.
Holy.
He is.
You're an animal.
Am I crazy? Why is that?
I don't know, man. I'm really just not a Jared Goff guy.
Dude, Jared Goff cooks, bro.
Yeah, he cooks in the whole regular season?
We doing that? We doing that right now?
We want to talk about Josh Allen's woes in the playoffs. Can we talk about Jared
no.
Goff's woes in the playoffs?
That man made a Super Bowl, though.
Was it him, or was it more of the guys around him?
Okay, should I say the same thing about Jalen Hurts, then?
Whoa. Hey, man.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. And he won the Super Bowl. Jared Goff put up 3 points, as far as I remember. Jared Goff lost to the GOAT.
Saquon.
No, here.
Brown.
Jared Goff lost to the GOAT. But guess what? Jalen Hurts beat the GOAT of this generation.
And then the GOAT of this generation beat Jalen Hurts. They're tied.
Heck yeah, they are. What's your point? Heck yeah.